Hi, ladies and gents. I'm Ruth Delgado, and this is Ruth Delgado's Glamour page here. So, if you've seen me before, welcome back to my channel. And if you haven't seen me before, welcome. So, what I decided to come back on camera today to do, because this is like my second video today. So, I decided to come back on camera because I came across a video that I won't be showing you guys because, like I have shared with you in the past videos, for my Truth Tribe that knows me already, because of copyright reasons and issues like regarding copyright, I'm doing the best that I can to not actually show footage or other people's videos so I don't have any issues, okay? So I am not going to show you guys the video, but if I can find it, I'll probably listen to the video and like go on each point that it's being talked about and discuss it that way. But basically, it was a video that I came across of Meek Mills, and he was talking to, oh, I can't forget the guy's name. I can't remember the guy's name. It's like at the tip of my tongue, but I can't. Gilly the Kid or something like that. Gil the Kid, something like that. Anyway, he was doing an interview, and he was saying like he feel like women, if they are like chatting in the DMs or if they're talking to any man, like if they have a boyfriend or something and they're talking to another man without the man that they're with's knowledge, that they're cheating. And I'm like, huh? Okay, so you mean to tell me a female just talking to a guy, just chatting, not even chatting in person, on the internet of all places, where a lot of times you might not even see that person. Like, literally, that's how distant the internet is. Like, it's a possibility if you ever seen that person that you might not ever see them again. That's the type of vibes that the internet will give you. So you mean to tell me a person can be on the internet chatting, just talking, you know, and you're going to tell me that that is actually genuinely considered cheating when men be out here not only on the internet talking to females, but on their phone with the girl's number, chatting with her, flirting with her on her phone and stuff, sending her sexy pictures and stuff. But you're gonna say that the girl just being in a DM, not sending no sexy pictures, just chatting, is cheating? And then Gilly the Kid, or if that's not his name, if y'all know what his name is, then put in the comment section. But whoever the guy is that he was talking to, I think it's Gilly the Kid. He was like, well, I wouldn't say that's cheating. He would say, but I would say that that's a sense of showing disloyalty. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, if you're not married to a man, why are you being that loyal to somebody that has not even put a ring on your finger? So I said all that to say this. Basically, the name of this video is going to be "The Conditioning is Real," and men use it against women all the time to get their advantage. And this is what I mean. How are you going to tell me when y'all men be out here doing all kinds of bumping and grinding and everything on females and claim that because you're not having intercourse that it's not cheating? How y'all really going to genuinely sit here and try to tell somebody that y'all think that, they're cheating because they're chatting with somebody on a DM When at the end of the day, if it's innocent conversation and you're not flirting, you know, even if you're talking about your feelings, but you're not letting this person know that you want to get with them right now. You're letting them know, like, I'm in a relationship right now. I'm not trying to hurt the person that I'm with, da 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 da, but I need to let you know how I feel. Even in that type of situation, you're still not cheating. You're just voicing how you feel, what's going on with you, so that you can stop having issues with whatever, you had holding that in. But it's like really crazy to me how men do all kinds of stuff, like dancing all up on women, like bumping and grinding and everything. And they claim, oh, I'm not cheating. I'm just having fun. I'm just having a good time. I'm just seeing if I still got it. Like, it's so many different excuses that dudes use for that behavior. But then a woman just in a DM, you really gonna tell me that that's cheating to you? And y'all men be out here doing everything under the sun that definitely come off as cheating, but y'all say, oh, we're not having intercourse, so that's not considered cheating. So, do I understand kind of like playing house because, you want to get a feel of who this person is, especially if you ever think about marrying this person. You want to get a feel of who this person is. You want to see how they are on a day-to-day basis. Because one thing I do know, I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt, whether it's in a relationship or whether just family or just friendship, you don't really get to know a person until you live with that person. And I can honestly say that for myself. It's a lot of people that I thought that I knew until I lived with them. And then when I lived with them, I'm like, ooh, I thought I knew you, but I really don't know you, clearly, like, apparently. And it's like, it's so crazy because it's like, wow, that's really decent. Like, that you is like, not decent, but like, that's really like a good point that until you interact with a person on a day-to-day basis and they don't have the opportunity to switch up and change up their character, their personality, how they coming off, and none of that. They don't have the opportunity to change into that because on a day-to-day basis you're seeing them. If that is the case, that's when you're really, really, really getting to know that person. And I'm like, it's so crazy because it's like, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were telling me, like, sometimes if things don't seem like it's like developing easily, that means you should just fall back off of it and just don't pay it any mind and just look at it like it's a distraction. Even though I know that sometimes that could be the case, I also know that sometimes God could be speaking to you. And if you don't pay attention to it, you ignoring God, ain't you? Because sometimes there can be certain signs and synchronicities in your life where God is kind of trying to show you something or trying to tell you something. And if you don't pay these signs any mind, how you going to see what God's trying to say? How you going to like really get where the message is coming from if you don't pay attention to the signs that God is showing you? And for people to keep telling people, oh, if it's not coming simply and easily and with a flow, then it's not for you. Then it's like, okay, aren't most things that are good for you complicated? Aren't most things that are actually healthy for you hard to handle and hard to take? For instance, just to use as an example, the most healthiest foods for us is usually the foods that is hardest for us to eat. I know it's like that with me. Like, I wasn't raised eating completely as healthy as I possibly could because society has been lying to us for years about what's really healthy for us. I was raised to believe that milk was healthy for me, and come to find out, it's actually one of the worst things that I could have ever ingested in my life. And that's why to this day I'm coughing up mucus all the time because I'm doing the best that I can to like curb my diet and like stop the cheese. But I'm not gonna lie, it's very difficult and it's super hard because you're in America and you're in a society where people love cheese, people love pizza, people love, all kinds of cheesy products, cheesecake, cheesesteaks, and it's like when it's always around you and you already know how it tastes, you already know what it is enticing to continue to keep eating it, even though you know, like now, that it's not good for you. But with me, it's harder because I'm having a hard time really finding out what really is completely good for me and what's some bull. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that people saying is good for you that's not good for you, and there's a lot of stuff that people saying not good for you and is good for you. How did I get to that? Well, I'm basically talking about how much of an influence that other people have on you and what you do and how you do things. And when you eat, even when you're eating a certain kind of way, you know, people might lie to you. They might not even be meaning to lie to you. They might be lying to you because somebody lied to them. But still, regardless, does that change the fact that it's a lie? No, it doesn't. People might be lying to you, telling you, oh no, that's healthy for you, that's healthy for you, and the next thing you know, that's exactly what makes you sick 20 years later. So that's what I mean when I say that it's like really crazy how Meek in that video was saying that he feels like women are being cheaters or showing disloyalty by communicating with any other man beyond the man that she is actually in a relationship with. And it's like, how is that the case when she's not actually doing anything but talking? And y'all not even paying attention to what the content of the conversation is, because she could be talking about business. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all act like, I feel like guys really do, overall, not every guy, but overall, men really do pretend and act like there is no possible way that, especially attractive, but not just attractive, but just male and female people can be together in the same room, communicating together, interacting together, and not be sexual, or not be on a type tip where it's like, they're cheating. People can talk without being sexual. People can talk and communicate without, losing control sexually. But I feel like with men having this mentality that women are cheating just because they're talking, I feel like that's men just showing just how much they feel like women aren't to be trusted around other men unless they're expected to be doing something sexual or, getting intimate in some type of way. And it's like, does that not really just show just how not so honest and not trustworthy men are, and not really the women? Because do I understand that sometimes men can have like a lot of bad situations with some females, because I've had friends like that, male friends at that, where they've been hurt, they've been disrespected, disregarded, treated like terribly, okay? And because of being treated that way, basically what a lot of them end up doing is just basically giving up on love, because they feel like, why am I going to keep faith in this when it keeps hurting me at the end of the day? And I can genuinely understand that myself, because I had almost given up myself on love. Not completely, but mentally, like to the point where it's like, I'm gonna love and respect this person because they're loving, respecting me, but I'm not going to like put my whole heart out there and be like all engulfed in love and just like infatuated and all of that anymore, until I started to feel those feelings again. Which it took 8 years, y'all. It took 8 years for me to finally start feeling those feelings again. Like, really start feeling like I wasn't afraid of love. And almost makes me want to cry because it's like, that's why I understand how people can definitely block themselves off from love, because it's like you don't want to hurt anymore. You don't want to keep putting yourself in a position to feel like you're letting yourself down because you trusted this person. You let this person in your circle. You let this person in your life. And then they just hurt you and just break your heart, just break your trust. And yeah, then it becomes hard for you to even trust yourself again and trusting anybody else to be a friend or be a boyfriend or be a girlfriend or just be a regular friend. Like you can't you feel like you can't trust yourself to like have relationships at all after that. I already know because I've been there before. But I also know that when you block yourself from that connection of possibly being open to real true love, you really can block yourselves from being with the person that God truly made just for you to be in a relationship with you. Like that person that I was having a conversation with, they was telling me like, they feel like, things happen for a reason. Nothing happens coincidentally. And I'm like, you know what? I actually believe you. I agree wholeheartedly. Like, people are not put in our lives for no reason. People are not put in our hearts for no reason. People are not put on our minds for no reason. Okay. So, even if you're in a relationship, even if you're, not in a position where you feel like you want to be in love yet, if God says, it's time for you to connect with this person and this is the person that I created for you, then He's going to put you in that space to be with that person. And if you want to be prepared to handle that, God's going to prepare you to handle that. But I don't think that we recognize that a lot of times we allow people to hurt us, that we have allowed in our hearts and in our circles, the unhealed parts of us have allowed them too close to hurt us, and then we allow them to cut us off and break us from the possible progress that we can have in future relationships, and us being able to possibly connect with the person that God genuinely intended for us to be with. Because that was another thing that I was thinking when that person that I was talking to told me that they don't believe in coincidences. I'm like, you know what? Exactly. Being as though I do believe that things happen for a reason, that is exactly the reason why I feel like people should not cut themselves off, especially if you're not married yet. You should not cut yourself off from being open to friendships, relationships, and connections that could lead to a marriage that is God sent. Because, you know, you're not going to recognize probably until it's too late that you've just cut off your spiritual connecting person. You just cut off your soulmate. You just cut off the person that God specifically designated just for you. Another thing that person that I was talking to said is that, there's always going to be something that's going to bother you about a person, that's going to upset you about a person, especially when you're in a relationship with that person. And I didn't say this to that person while I was speaking to them, but I'm saying it to you guys. In all actuality, that is true. And I feel like that is exactly why you should be trying to be with the person that God designated for you, as opposed to the person that you're just choosing for yourself, just looking around at the people that's conveniently located around you. Because I noticed that a lot of times people don't date outside of their convenience. Excuse me. Unless they're rich or famous or something like that. I've come to recognize that a lot of people only date people that's just like in their immediate circle. And it's like, do you know how much you cut yourself off and set yourself back just from dating, just from your immediate circle, as opposed to like broadening your horizon, broadening your circle, traveling a little bit, getting outside of your comfort zone for a while. You don't have to stay there, but just venture out a little bit, because sometimes your soulmate might not be in your city, or your soulmate might not be in your country, or your soulmate might come from your city or come from your country, but they might be adventurous because they might not feel that much of a connection to their city and their country. It's so many different instances and circumstances that could take place. So it's like we need to recognize how we ourselves sometimes limit ourselves by not keeping our options open. I'm not saying F around. Absolutely not. I am not a person that will ever tell a person, to cheat or to be lying and cheating and, totally disrespecting your partner or anything like that. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you're in a relationship and you can clearly see that this relationship is not going to end in a marriage, that this relationship is going to end up having an ending date, then it is nothing wrong with you from time to time allowing someone to approach you and have innocent conversation, or just have talks and communicate with other people, so that just in case, or if you already know that it's not going to work out, when it doesn't work, you can have someone else that you can talk to, that you can connect with, that you can vibe with, and you won't have to be like so vulnerable. Because a lot of times, especially women, a lot of times women be very vulnerable after relationships, especially when they've been in a relationship with that person for a long time and they may have had certain dependence with that person. They can get in very vulnerable states once they walk away from that relationship. And I feel like that's another reason why guys do that conditioning, where they try to tell the female that they're wrong or they're cheating just by talking to another man or just by talking to another guy. Because you want to condition me to think that, so that when I decide to leave you, I don't have nobody that I can go to if ever I need anything. Like, for instance, let's say if a young woman has a boyfriend, right? And then she breaks up with that boyfriend because she sees that, it's not working out. They're arguing all the time. It's not peaceful. It's not healthy. So she decides to break up with him, and everything is cool with her for a while. Like, let's say like 2.5, 3 months. Everything is cool with her for a while. And she's not talking to anybody else because she just is on her grind. She's working all the time. She's doing her thing. She's staying focused on her career, her life. And let's say she's driving home from work one day and her car breaks down, and let's say she works in New Jersey and she lives in Philly. So her car breaks down in the middle on the road, like she's nowhere near home, right? This is a circumstance where a female might need some help because she's having car problems. And typically you're not going to call another female. If you're a female, you having car problems. If you're having car problems, you're going to call a guy. You're going to call a man, okay? So typically. So, let's say she hasn't tried to talk to anybody since, like I said, since she broke up with her boyfriend, her ex now. So she decides to call her ex because literally he's the only person that's an option right now that she knows that she has still consistently over the past however many years, months, whatever, been contacting, and nobody else has been a person that she's been contacting. So she knows, like, any woman know how typically men are. Typically, men do not want you calling them for some help if you have not been consistently, regularly contacting them and talking to them on a regular basis. Men know that about other men. So I feel like that's why they put us in that conditioning to feel like, oh, if you talk to another guy, you're cheating, because they don't want us to be able to have help whenever because of us being women and kind of vulnerable. We're not really, really vulnerable, but we have our moments and our times, especially depending on how feminine we are as women, where, we may need help from a man. And that can come off vulnerable. I don't want no women coming on, oh, well, you might be vulnerable, but bitch, I'm not. Listen. Okay, for real, for real. Ain't none of us really vulnerable. Not really. Because at some point or another, we all can, get some help from somebody, somewhere, some way, somehow. Especially, you a woman, you know how to talk to people, you know how to communicate, you can get help. Now, if there's nobody around that you can get help from, that's different. But it's crazy how, guys do that to us. Like, and then the other thing that I wanted to talk to that's kind of connected to this also is how I've noticed a lot of times people will be in like either just a regular relationship where it's like boyfriend girlfriend type vibe, or sometimes people can be married for years. Years. I'm not just talking about like a few months. I'm talking about years. And then end up breaking up, end up getting a divorce, end up not together anymore. And I, for one, have definitely been one of those people that have been very confused and wondering, like, why do people do that? Like, why do people be together for such a long time? I mean, like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years married and or just in a relationship together, and then end up breaking up after all those years. Like, I, for one, have always been one of those type of people that really wondered, why did y'all break up? I mean, y'all been together all this time. Or why did y'all just stay together for that long? Y'all didn't notice that the relationship wasn't working out. Y'all didn't see, like, throughout the entire time of y'all being together that it wasn't working out. Y'all didn't notice for 27, 30 years. Y'all didn't notice that. I'm just using that as an example. Like, because sometimes people be married and sometimes they be in relationships for that long. Like me, I tell guys all the time, if I don't feel nothing genuine with you, I'm not about to stay with you too long. If I'm with you. If I'm not with you at all, I'm not with you. It don't matter. But if I'm with you, if I don't see a future with you, if you not talking about a future with us, if I'm feeling like a future with us is not gonna work out well and it's looking like it's a no, then I'm gonna let you know, like, we not about to be together forever. Like, this is a limited time type. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, if you can't vibe with honesty, then that's on you. That's on you. That's your problem. Like that don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? But that's another thing that I was talking about to that same person. People don't like honesty these days. These days, you be honest with a person hates you for being honest. But then if you lie and they find out you lied, you still lose. Like, it's like you can't win either way. You honest, they don't want to believe you. You lie, it's still a problem. They find another problem because it's always the issue, and it's like, it's sad because it's like, I feel like one of the major, 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 major reasons why so many people stay married or stay in unhealthy relationships or friendships or connections for as long as they do is because of these conditionings, like Meek Mills was talking about, and thinking that, oh, if I talk to anybody else, I'm going to be cheating. And so they don't ever talk to nobody else. They feel like they're unwanted. They feel like don't nobody like them anymore. And a lot of times women waste their youth on the wrong guys, and by the time they recognize that this is just never going to work with this person that they're with, they feel like they're not as beautiful as they was before, and now they're not able to pull as many guys as they used to. They're not able to get as much attention as they used to, and these men know what they're doing when they do this to women. And that's the sad part about it. They stress you out, have you in a relationship for years, and then sometimes have, thank God, it's a lot of women that age well, thank God, and come out of that relationship still looking good. Kudos to the girls that's still looking good. We still looking good out here. But sadly for the young ladies that's not still looking good, that let that stress get to them, and that stayed in that stress, that allowed that stress to dictate them and start to transform their look, they start looking crazy, and they don't have any connections anymore with anybody else, because this whole time that they've been with you, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they ain't been talking to nobody else. So yeah, now they've conditioned themselves to think that don't nobody else like them, wouldn't nobody else be interested in them, which is not really the truth. It's the conditioning. And that also comes hand in hand with manipulation, because you're manipulating this woman to believe that nobody else is going to want her. And a lot of times, that's a lot of times what a lot of guys will do to you too. They'll tell you that, because I've had guys in the past do that to me. Tell me, oh, you ain't never going to find nobody that's going to love you like I love you. You ain't never going to find nobody that's going to treat you the way I treat you. And I don't know what song it was or which songs it was, but it was some type of song or something that was like, well, honey, that's the point. I don't want nobody that's going to treat me the way you treat me. I want somebody that's going to treat me better. So you go right ahead on and let me find somebody that's going to treat me better, because that's really what I want. But basically, I'm going to pull out the whole video together. I said all that to say this. Meek, if you ever see this video, no hard feelings, because I love a lot of your music, but I can't agree with you on this, because first of all, it just basically flat out don't make sense. And then second of all, y'all men just have way too many excuses, bumping and grinding on women, sometimes even getting head from women, all kinds of stuff y'all be doing with women, and then talking about something, well, we didn't have intercourse, we didn't actually have sex. Well, if y'all can sit there and push that narrative for y'all and for y'all benefit, please stop putting that BS out there, trying to tell women that just because she conversates with another man or other men to create cushion for herself, just in case the relationship or whatever she's in right now is not working out, doesn't work out. Don't penalize her for that, because that's messed up and it's not cool, because that's how women end up single for life and feeling like that ain't nobody gonna ever want them, because y'all condition women to think that nobody's gonna want them, because y'all tell us not to mess with nobody else while we messing with y'all, and cut everybody off, and like really like be very cut off and distant with people. And then when y'all done used us up and got us so sick and tired of y'all BS, and we decide to walk away, now of course nobody's acting like they want us, because we've been cutting people off for years. So when you cut off people for years, of course, I'm saying people gonna be like, well, you was cutting me off before, why they ain't, if they smart, they not really gonna take you serious now, because it's like, you was cutting me off, now all of a sudden you want to talk, now all of a sudden you want to connect, but when I wanted to connect with you, it was a problem. Like, can't be like that with people. That's how you end up losing people that may be actually good for you, that may be actually somebody that God has intended for you to be with. You could be messing that up because you staying loyal and faithful to a person that you ain't even supposed to be with, and you feel that you're not supposed to be with that person, but because everybody is conditioning you to feel otherwise, you allowing yourself to feel bad about something you ain't even got to feel bad about because you're not even married to this person. Now, mind you, I will say this part before I leave. I can say that if you are married, I would not consider it cheating, but I would say it's disrespectful if you're married. And the only reason why I say it's disrespectful if you're married, because I do not give the same treatment to a boyfriend that I would give my husband. And I shouldn't. The same type of loyalty and honesty and connection that I would have with somebody I'm married to, it would not be the same as a boyfriend. So therefore, that's another reason why I say, if you talk to another man and you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, then that's fine because y'all are not married. But if y'all are married and you're talking to somebody else and you won't tell your husband about that conversation, or you don't feel comfortable with telling him about that conversation, then that is disrespectful. But it's still not cheating. But it could lead to cheating because, like, y'all married. So you wouldn't already gave this man your heart forever. You done already told him we in this for life. So that's the difference. You don't do that when you decide to be in a relationship with somebody. You just decide to be in a relationship with that person until y'all decide not to be in a relationship no more. Unless y'all decide to get married instead. And then if that's the case, then y'all just get married. But, guys, I encourage y'all to stop manipulating each other, please. Guys, please stop trying to tell women that they're cheating by talking to other guys, especially if they're not flirting. And if y'all flirting with other guys and y'all like really trying to, show sexual interest and like really sexually flirting, then yeah, that is leading. It's going to definitely end up leading to cheating, especially if he wants you. If he want to be with you and you pushing the sexual narrative, then yeah, y'all might end up doing something because you playing with fire at that point. But if you keeping it innocent, you keeping it just friends, don't draw the line and don't cross them lines, that's not cheating. That's being a responsible adult, but also keeping your options open because you understand that in life, especially when you know that relationships don't always end in marriage, you understand in life it might be the smartest thing to go ahead and keep your options open. Ain't nobody saying go and sleep around, but you can keep your options open and you can make sure that you don't sit there and limit yourself to one person and then end up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, after you recognize that this is definitely never going to happen with this one person. Now you feel miserable by yourself and feeling like you can never get with nobody because you don't have no options. You cut your options off. Don't cut your options off. Just be a responsible adult. And if you okay, here's the thing. If you do have a strong attraction to this person, because sometimes it does happen. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not an adult and I don't know that sometimes things happen and adults make mistakes. It can happen. And in that, if that's what Meek was trying to say, that, it's going to end up leading to cheating, then that's what he should have said. But that's not what he said. But if you are not keeping it innocent, like with me, if ever I talk to guys and I'm in a relationship, I keep it innocent. I let the guy know, like, I'm not about to be effing with you. I'm not about to be flirting with you. If I do flirt, it's going to be like an innocent flirt, like, giving you compliments and stuff like that. But not like saying I want to do this and I want to do that to you and all kinds of stuff like that. If you're doing stuff like that, then yeah, you're definitely a cheater because you want somebody to do something. You're even being bold with it by even putting that in the DM. I would never do that as a woman, period. Even if I did want to do like that, you would have to give me your personal number so we could talk. But guys, I just wanted to bring you guys this video because I feel like it's very important for us to recognize that you can control yourself. Oh, what I was trying to say before I got carried away with talking about something else is that basically, if you feel like a strong connection to this person and you feel like, you know, you're like very highly attracted to this person, and oh my goodness, oh gosh, my stomach is really hurting me right now. But you like, oh my goodness, you know, this person is like, oh, so hot to me. Like, okay, then don't go around that person. Don't be around that person. Just keep it on the internet. Or if you do go around that person in person, then be out in public. Like, go to the playground or go out to the coffee shop, or, you know, go out somewhere in public where you know you're going to be at your best, on your best behavior, because you're out in public. That way you don't set yourself up for failure and set yourself up to cheat or be lying or be doing something sneaky and crazy that is not acceptable. Just talking, you're fine, child. Don't worry about that. Don't be flirting all heavily and sexually and all of that. As long as you're not flirting heavily and sexually, you're just on some friendship, innocent type situation and vibe, you are not cheating, my dear. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. I'm pretty sure you guys liked it if you watched it this far. Make sure you press that like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you what? Make sure you become a part of the Truth Tribe, because when you vibe with Ruth, you vibing with the truth. That's about it. That's bottom line, point blank, period. I will see you guys next time I upload. Later. Peace out.